Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome along to the SFC interviews, the second one that we've done today. Just done one with Tim Silvers a little while ago. So now we're joined by Mark Beard for the second one of the day. So how are you, Mark?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. How's things here? All good?
Yeah, fine, mate. Yeah, doing well. We've got some questions here in regards to your time at Stevenage and things like that. We've got a message come through actually when I posted this and it went out live from Kieran as well. Obviously, Kieran was physio at that at the club at that point. He said, "Oh, Beard, what a legend and nice guy. He could definitely put a tackle in." Were you on his physio table, quite a bit, or not really?
To be fair, my time at Stevenage, I don't think I had one injury. I turned up in September and played 52 straight games.
Yeah.
I had no injuries whatsoever. The only time I ever had a little niggle was probably 10 days before the Wembley game, where I just hurt my back a bit and had 2 days off training. But the whole time I probably trained every session and played in every match.
So there we go. What were your main, deciding factors and reasons behind coming to Stevenage and joining the club?
I was actually in Spain and I was playing out there for 2 years. And the person who was sorting out the money with us and like the president of the club at the time I was at, he sort of run out of money and couldn't pay us anymore. So I had to look for different clubs. So I knew Mark Stimson from when I played at Southend. I got my brother in touch with him and he said, come and trial for a week. I was literally there 2 or 3 days. I was quite blown away by how professional it was. And the players they had, he did try to sell to me. They had a really good young team. They just needed a bit of experience. They had Steve Guppy, he said, and he just said that he thought I'd come over and do well. Actually, when I come over, the idea was for me to play right back, and Barry Fuller was going to play in centre midfield.
Okay, right.
I come over, I watched the game, the first game they lost. So then on the Saturday I was on the bench and I come on about 15-20 minutes to go. I think we won 0, and that was my first game. Can't remember who it was against, but we won 6-0 anyway. Played well.
Stafford Rangers.
That was it, yeah. So that's my first game, won 6-0, and I signed a contract for the rest of the season after that game, and just straight away loved every minute of it.
And then, you mentioned there in regards to that game against Stafford Rangers, how much do you remember about the game there and, the lead up to it as well?
And the build up to it, it was just good to get back to England and back in and around English football. So as I say, I've been in Spain for 2 years. But anyone who knows me, I play the same way wherever I am. I'll just give 100%. So I'm really looking forward to it. Family come, friends come, and just a good opportunity back into English football. And it was quite tough. I think I was 32 at the time, so to go on trial at 32 is quite, I wouldn't say daunting, but it was quite tough. And I hadn't normally had to go on trial probably ever, so it was quite. So to come in, have to prove myself again at 32, I think the boys made me feel welcome straight away and found out straight away what a special group of lads they were.
And it didn't take you long to get your first goal for the club as well, scoring that crucial 1-0 winning goal against Weymouth. So what was your memories of that?
Yeah, it was good because, obviously there was a couple of games where I started on a bench and then we played Cambridge, I think, away. That's the game I played right back and Barry Fuller was in midfield. I think after the game, we lost 1-0. Mark Stimson said to me that Barry's a better right back, we think. We know you can play midfield. Do you want to play there? And I said, to be fair, that's where I've been playing the last few years anyway. So I don't mind that. So I played my first time in centre midfield against Weymouth and I scored the only goal. Jules Boyd set me up. I always remember it. I think I was passing the ball in the first place, carried on my run into the box. He'd done a good reverse pass to me. I touched that on my feet in it in bottom corner. But
I remember it was a nice goal, a nice finish. Yeah,
it's a good finish. It's quite early on, so I didn't think probably at the time that'd be the winning goal. I thought there'd be a lot more goals. It wasn't, and we held on, and it was good to get the point because at that time the results were a bit up and down. We won one, we lost one, they drawn one, and then we went into this, and I think we went on a good little run after this.
Yeah, that's true. We did. So you were tempted to sign to the club by Mark Stimson. What was he like as a gaffer?
Brilliant. I think at the time he was one of the best I worked with. and I still keep in touch with all the boys now, all the players, and a lot of them obviously was looked after by him, and they played for other clubs with him, and they said he changed a little bit once he went to a few other clubs. Don't know why or what the reasons were. Only Mark would know that. But the boy, he went from being this young, hungry, do anything for your manager, and by the time he got to Gillingham with them, he changed a little bit. But my experience with Mark Stimson as a manager was brilliant. He got a great group of lads, which is the most important thing. We run through brick walls for each other. The fans were brilliant. He made sure that the players, after every game, whether we won or lost, most of the time we won, but every time we have to go in the bar together. Training was always fun. It was good. It was intense. Intensity levels in training were like you see how we played on the pitch. So I thought it would go on. And in actual fact, I recommended him to Millwall a couple of times when he was at Stevenage, when he done so well. So I thought he'd be a really good Millwall manager the way he got his teams playing. But obviously, he ended up going to other clubs.
Yeah, to Gillingham and clubs like that. Yeah. And of course, you're a Millwall fan as well. So what was it like to see when Steve obviously signed for Millwall?
Again, I did put him in touch with him a few times, not direct with Steve, but like obviously clubs do background checks on players.
Yeah.
You probably know. And they'd always ask me how he was. And I said, to be fair, and this he'd probably echo it, he wasn't great in training. Most of the times he'd probably be the worst player. If you come and watch him in a training session, he'd be poor. Come Saturday, he's unbelievable. Like, score goals, lead the line brilliantly, great centre forward. Don't stop moaning, but he's always reliable and always score you a goal.
That was the thing with Steve. The fans could notice that about him as well. You know, he was the go-to goal scorer. He was never happy. You never saw a smile on his face, but there you go.
Character, and that's why it makes him a little bit special. I mean, he had great relationships with George Boyd, and then obviously Boydie left, and then I think if we would have kept Boydie, we would have got promoted that year as well.
Yeah, and then of course you were involved in that FA Trophy run as well, which went on to get the victory at Wembley. So what was it like being involved in that campaign? And of course, stepping out at Wembley as well and winning it in the way that we did.
Yeah, it's great. It's probably one of the best experiences of my career. I've had a lot of things go on in my career, like with Millwall and Sheffield United, but to go as far as we did with the team to get to Wembley. But even when we played in the semi-final against Grays, saying it's a bit Wembley, but you kept hearing things that it won't be ready in time. So then it could have been at a different venue. So we just kept believing. Once we got to the semi-final, the Grays game was so tense. And I mean, always remember it went to extra time, didn't it? And
that's right, it did, yeah.
Time, the boys were tired. We was out on our feet. And I remember Stimo had a chat, and it's probably the first time I stepped up as one of the experienced players, because in my head, I was probably thinking this will be the last chance for me to play at Wembley. Play at the new Wembley. I just weren't going to let this go. So I just got a little circle of the boys and just said, listen, we're 30 minutes away from Wembley. We got to grab this opportunity. We do not lose this game. No matter what happens, we don't lose this game. And like I said, if you're tired, you just keep running. You could sleep the next 2-3 days. Just work and work until we win this game. And we come out extra time from going tired to we look strong, and straight away we got the goal, and then only looked like there's going to be one winner. It was a bit edgy at the end, and they had a few chances, but
Jules made that absolutely exceptional save, didn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, just like things like that, you just remember that that's what's got us there. And then obviously we're celebrating on the pitch, but still in the back of our head, we was thinking it still might not be there.
Yeah.
And then when we got official confirmation, it was just crazy. It was amazing. First team to play at the new Wembley in a competitive final. So great experience for us, for me, my family, and my kids were mascots as well. So
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Right, it was brilliant.
And what was it like to go in 2-0 down at half time and then be able to come back and win it right at the death as we did in the 88th, 89th minute?
Yeah, it's good. Same again. Like, we got to half time, and I've been in finals before. Mark was really calm at half time. Like, he could have come in and ripped our heads off, and we knew we hadn't played ourselves. He made a mistake, I think, playing Steve Guppy. Guppy hadn't been fit. He wasn't fit. And I think there's a bit of nostalgia for the Gups because he was the first one to play at the old Wembley, the new one.
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
So I think he got picked for the wrong reasons, where you had some young lads on there like Craig Dobson who've been great and probably
Mitch.
come on for points to prove. So the minute he come on, the game changed. And I'm not saying that was all because of Dobbo. It just meant that we had someone to get in behind all of a sudden, which he scored from. Give us a little bit of pace. We had Mitchell Cole one wing, Dobbo the other, Steve Morris up front. He had me, Adam Miller in midfield. He had Barry Fuller bombing on, Nutter bombing. So all of a sudden, the dynamic of the team changed and completely changed the game. And I think if he'd left that sub another 5-10 minutes, that result wouldn't have happened. So again, the attitude of the players, we would never give up. We could have been 3-4-0 down. No team safe at that scoreline. And with that team we had, said to them at our time, we got to liven up now. Let's get going. And we did. And we got that early-ish goal. And then I'm just so glad Stevie Morrison got that goal in the 89th minutes. I didn't really fancy another 30 minutes extra time.
Nah, absolutely, yeah. Keith here, what was it like playing at Wembley?
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, the stadium itself was brilliant. The day before, Mark did a good thing. He took us to the ground. So we got that out of the way, really. We had 2 hours there where we went through into the car park, underneath, through the changing room, see where we was going to sit, done that tunnel walk out onto the pitch, done the walk up the Wembley steps, studied every blade of grass. So we knew exactly what it was going to be like. So when we got there on a day, we could really focus on the game. And then to step out with the fans there, it's just phenomenal. Even with 57,000, what it was, unreal. The pitch itself that day wasn't great because it was a newly laid pitch. And I don't know if you know newly laid pitches, it hadn't been planted that long. It was really slippy underfoot. So for the first 5-10 minutes, it took us a little while to get going. But once we
it had been played on as well, hadn't it? It was played on about a week previously.
Yeah, so the pitch. But listen, what a venue, what a facility, what a place to go and play, and then to go win even better.
Absolutely, really good day as well. Really, really great day out. I remember being there, and you know the feeling when Morrow put that one away was amazing to be a part of that, and you know that's something that you can't ever take away from Stevenage fans. It was a real big buzz and a real great day to be out and to see and to witness firsthand.
Yeah, no, it was great, and as I say, it's pleased with the fans. I love playing there. Loved every minute of it. Really, I know it was only a year. Felt like a long ago, but because we did share a lot of memories, and the fact to finish my career off in that game was unreal.
That's right, and you know, you mentioned there that you finished your career off in that game. Was that always something that was on the cards? You know, that was going to be your final appearance, or did you still think you could carry on and go on a bit longer?
I thought where I played 52 games, we won the cup. I've been an ever present. I know I got on really well with all the boys. Stimo loved me. We weren't doing contract negotiations to the day of the parade. So I think the parade Monday or the Tuesday after the...
Yeah, I was there. What day was it? Sunday, Monday? Yeah.
Yeah, we had a day off and we come in on a Monday. So I come up with my kids, and so we had set times for the day. And I had a feeling in my head because I was last in, and I'm thinking, why am I last? But I was last. He'd done all the boys before, and I got in the office, and he said he's not renewing my contracts. I was just so shocked. And when I come out, I told the boys were fuming. They wanted to go in there and like fucking rip into Mark as well because they thought I deserved it, and everyone was like just gutted for me. But I was old enough and realised that football can be like that. And the biggest disappointment for me was that I loved it so much there. I enjoyed my time. I love playing with the players, and for me to end in the end, that was like a knife in the heart, and that completely killed me playing full-time football. I never really recovered after that because I couldn't get myself motivated again to play for another team. Even I went to St Albans, which was a disaster for 3 months. Richie Handler got the sack, so I left straight away. It was a good excuse for me to play. Badly run club. So I left there and went to AFC Wimbledon, which was unbelievable. Very similar to Stevenage, where it's an upward club. The boys were brilliant. The staff were brilliant. But it wasn't full-time. And after that Stevenage experience, I never got the opportunity to play full time again, and that absolutely it done me. The fact that I never got another year when I knew I was fit enough to definitely carry on. But I think he's obviously had Stuart Lewis, and he had, I think it's Glenn Paul he's bringing, and he said it was similar to me, but it's just a hard one to take.
Who was it? It was Stuart, and we never had Glenn Paul. It might have been who was it? Johnny Martin. Was it Johnny Martin?
Sorry, that's it. Yeah, John Martin.
Yeah. So yeah, that's they're similar kind of positional players, aren't they? Centre mids, yeah. So how much did you enjoy the derby games, especially the games against Woking? The game down here, especially where we won it right at the end of the 3-2. We were 2-1 down, and Nutt scored the penalty, and I think it was Dobbo that got the winner at the end.
Yeah, they're good games to play in. Obviously, it's good for the fans. Cambridge game as well. Big teams. They're always good games, and I don't listen. I played in big derbies like Millwall and Palace and things like that. So for me, it's just another game. It's no matter about the opposition, but for the fans, it's important. So as a player, you want to win for them, and yeah, they're always good games. They're always enjoyable, and there's always a little bit more on it.
And one of the games that you did score in as well was Cambridge, as you mentioned there, in that 4-1. That was another one of your 3 goals that you scored.
Yeah, that one. I quite enjoyed that one. It's on Boxing Day, and it was a real good win against them. And Southport as well. That was quite an important goal. So at the time, we was chasing to get promoted, and we was 1-0 down. But I think I made it 2-1, and then Morrow scored literally a minute after as well. So yeah, I seemed to score more goals for Stevenage in one season than I did for any other club. So it was good.
It's not bad for a midfielder as well. Quite defensive-minded midfielder. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I was just asked to be the dog, really. Run about, tackle me and Adam Miller. Not many people got past us or didn't like playing against us. He was just as horrible as I was. And when we got it, just kept it simple.
And I spoke to Adam. I love Adam to pieces. He was on one of the streams as well. And I love the fact that he's just so blunt and says it how it is, and he doesn't care. If he's got an opinion, he'll share that.
Yeah. Listen, I love him to bits. He's a great lad, and I just love playing with him. He loved playing with me. He was my partner. We complemented each other.
And then, so we spoke about the FA Trophy there. You played alongside Mitchell Cole in that FA Trophy and in that year as well in that side. What was it like playing alongside Mitch, and how big a loss has he been to Stevenage and to football since he's passing away?
Yes, mate, unbelievable lad, great player, quick as you like, and on his day he could be as good as anyone. Brilliant, great kid, lovely family, obviously, and kept in touch with him after. I mean, I think 2 days before he actually died, I was on the phone to him because he was an agent working with David Lee, and I was arranging to meet up. He's going to try and get a player in for us to come. I was at Crawley at the time to get a player in, and we had a game that morning for Crawley on a Saturday, and I just went out for the warm up. When I come back in, I had about 30 missed calls from Barry, Adam Miller, someone else.
Wow. Yeah.
So again, the closeness of the boys and how we all felt about each other, like so many years on as well, for them to make calls to each other, just showed you how close we were. But to hear it obviously died, it's unspeakable, and we all went to the funeral, and still follow Charlie's wife on social media. Always ask how she is, because obviously for her young family, it's just devastating, and it's great to see
the two young kids. Yeah.
Kids are growing up. And I know so many Keith Bell and so many Stevenage fans still do so much with their tournament and things like that. And Mitchell's brother, so it's a shame I can't really be involved a lot because I play myself. But he was a great kid.
And you mentioned there in regards to Keith as well. Keith's now on the actual staff side of it at the club. He's the kit man there. So somebody that's followed the club and been a fan for that long has now actually got I guess it's probably one of his main dreams, isn't it? So that's always good to see as well. Yeah,
no, Keith's a great guy. I actually played for Stevenage supporters in a game, didn't I, against Crawley? So I was the first Stevenage ex-player to play for Stevenage fans, and that was only because of Keith. He asked me to come along and play, and again, I'll do it again tomorrow if he asks me to.
Fair enough. And then you spoke, about Mitchell Cole there as well. Were you one of the guys that went down and played in that sort of memorial game for him?
Yeah, I played in that. Yeah, it's good. I was up against Joe Cole and Andy Carroll,
Kevin Nolan. Yeah.
Nolan is some good players. It was a great day. But more importantly, just for the memory of Mitchell, it was a sad day, but it's a good memorial for him.
So yeah, absolutely, it's a very sad occasion, but it's good to get everybody together although just not for the right reasons there. A very difficult and sad reason behind it. And you also played alongside Ronnie as well. What was he like as a captain and as a sort of leader and a guy around the dressing room?
Well, actually, when I was at Southend, Ronnie come from Tottenham a few years before as an 18, 19-year-old. So he come and played on loan. So I actually knew Ronnie. But when he come in, I just thought he's very quiet at Southend and probably didn't rate him as highly as I did than when I went to Southend, to Stevenage. When I come in, obviously thought I knew him, and I was completely, I was wrong. Like my first opinion of him, and you don't realise that when kids are coming in from other clubs, especially from Tottenham, that it's a hard experience. And when I got there as a young guy to be captain at the time, but he was fantastic. He's a winner, 100%, wants to win everything. He's a bit like Steve Morrison, moans, but he's got a funny side as well. And I'm actually doing a course with him at the minute, so I get to see him quite a bit and speak to him quite a bit. And I know he's going to go and he's going to be a really good coach. He can see things. But the most important thing he wants to learn, and as I say, he's a born winner.
So what's that course that you're doing at the moment then with him?
It's the FA Award.
So say that again. What was it called?
It's the FA Advanced Youth Award. It's like
because of course he's involved with the youth at Stevenage now. Yeah.
You need it to be involved with that age group he's involved with. So do your A4A is parallel to that. So you need it, and it's probably the second highest qualification you could get. Okay,
we've got a couple of messages here. This one from Giggsy. Is there anyone that influenced you throughout your career? So, on the playing side of it or away from the playing side of it as well?
My dad, first of all, obviously, from the age of 4 or 5, he took me everywhere. He was my coach for my Sunday league team, to Wimbledon, to Millwall. So I went everywhere with him taking me. He's the biggest influence. Player-wise, watching Millwall, Terry Hurlock, I used to love. So I loved his combative style, getting stuck in. And I used to love Jimmy Carter, who was a winger. But probably my main football hero is Brian Robson. I used to love him, box to box, wearing a number 7, up and down. I used to like him. And I used to love Tom Wally, my manager at Millwall. It's unbelievable guy. And yeah, every club I played at, really, there's always someone who you look up to. Mick McCarthy was my first team manager. Howard Kendall was my manager at Sheffield United. Guys like that, I just love playing for them, working for them, and they're sort of my heroes growing up, and then got to end up playing for them or playing under them. So it's great.
And the second message is from Jules. We spoke about Jules a little while ago, in fact, with that save as well in the trophy game. He says, "Love you, Beardy, you ledge. Love the dinosaur, man."
He's brilliant. What a goalkeeper he is, by the way.
And we were speaking, I spoke to Jules, I spoke to Danny Potter as well, about the chicken man. That's his nickname, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's got start to do, he did, but there's a good memory. He was on the trophy final, and for whatever reason, I was like Jeremy Beadle. I had the camera on me the whole time. So I filmed the whole thing. I got like over an hour of footage, but I did it in the changing rooms, I did it in the coach. But every time I got into him, he was like being a dinosaur, like scary noises, and so he's called the dinosaur.
And he had the little chicken dance as well. That's what Danny Potter was saying. Yeah,
I don't know what's saying wrong.
He loves his animals, obviously, clearly. But you were an ever-present in the run to the trophy final. So when did you sort of see that we were going to go on and could actually potentially get to that final there? When did you sort of see that the foundation was in place?
You know what? I mean, I said it to Mark after we beat Woking. And I think we won a lot of games in a row. And I said this team could be special. I just knew just the characters we had, that we could go quite far in any competition. I really thought we could win the trophy right from probably 5-6 games in. And I thought we'd get promoted. I really did. And I think the thing that stopped us getting promoted was, 1, losing Boydie, and 2, probably the trophy run. Sometimes it takes your eye off the league. So I think our focus then all of a sudden become the trophy, where if we had a few more experienced players, we could have done both. But I think Boydie was a big loss, and we never really played that. And that's no disrespect to the players that played instead of him after that, like your John Nurses, who were great. And we had some real good attacking players. But I just think Boydie had that little bit of class that would have got us promoted as well.
Yeah, Boydie was an outstanding player. There was that one game against Merthyr Tydfil in the trophy run, the 7-0, and he got 4 goals, I think it was, in that game.
Yeah, he's a great player, man. He's a good player, and he don't play at the level he's played at for all them years by not being a good player. And he had, like, obviously not bad. He come through Stevenage youth system in the end and had to do it the hard way, but he just a great kid, great feet, and always believed in his own ability, never changed anything. And I think Stimo got the best out of him, and it's helped him have a career further on.
That's right, and he's just been made available by Peterborough as well. He's no longer in their plans. What kind of a coup would it be if somebody like Stevenage could get him back now?
Be amazing, wouldn't it? I mean, I'd recommend it to him. I mean, I don't know the new manager, but I know the people at the club. It's a fantastic club. Got some good people around it. And it'd be a nice little homecoming. It's not too far up the road either, is it, Peterborough to Stevenage?
No, not at all. Yeah, it's very near. Of course, that'd be great if he was to finish his career, maybe at Stevenage, for example, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how old he is now, but he can obviously play. So he's the last thing you lose is your quality.
Yeah.
Go first, but I wouldn't say he's the quickest anyway. He's like a Teddy Sheringham type player, link up player who could do anything, so it'd be great.
And he's settled into that centre mid position more now at Peterborough as well. And obviously he can do left mid and off the striker and stuff as well. So he's quite a versatile kind of player.
Yeah, give you options wherever he plays. So, and with his experience now, it'd help the young ones coming through as well. So you got a lot of youngsters there.
Definitely. So let's move on a little bit here now. You mentioned Morrow a little bit as well. What was it like playing alongside such a great striker in Morrow? Was it always good to have him on your side rather than against you?
Yeah, he's just hard to play against, and like I've obviously followed his career after and watched him a lot of Millwall, and he used to sort me out free tickets most weeks. But to play with him, he was always like I say, he'd always have the knack of scoring a goal or be in the right place at the right time. But it wasn't lucky. It wasn't through luck. It was just his movement or his endeavour to get there. If there's a cross going in the box, he's going to throw himself at it. He wasn't afraid of getting hurt like some of the centre forwards nowadays. And like you'd probably say he's an old-fashioned centre forward, like the big strong 9. But he was rapid as well. He's quick, left foot, right foot. So he had a bit of everything. Apart from, like you say, he never smiled.
But if you're going to score goals, you can have that if you want. If you're going to score goals every week, it's fine. That's fine. Do what you want, mate. But no, we spoke about this before a little bit. But you made it clear upon leaving the club that you felt you had more to offer, and then you moved to St Albans. So was it important for you to kind of stay local at that time? What was the you mentioned there that St Albans didn't work out very well for you, I should say. But you played alongside Richie Hanlon there as well, who's another ex-Stevenage player.
Yeah, he's one of the clubs. It just wasn't meant to be. I mean, when I left, it wasn't that it was local for me. I lived in Haywards Heath. It was a nightmare to get to, and to train. I've gone from training during the day with Stevenage to training at night at St Albans, and yourself around the M25 that time of night. And I knew pretty early on. I mean, pre-season, the lure of it was I was assistant player manager, so it gave me a little of my first experience of really at that level coaching. So that's what I had. Richie let me do most of the training, which was good. But from day one, it just wasn't. I mean, listen, Stevenage is a great club and St Albans a local rival. So they got relegated that year. They was trying to rebuild to go up. It only probably lasted 2 months and they sacked Richie, and I was quite pleased to leave. Fair
enough. So was Richie player manager or was he just manager at that point?
Just manager. No, his knees are gone, I think. So
fair enough. So you mentioned that you didn't really know too much about Alex Revell, but how do you think he'll get on with Stevenage now with a reprieve and having Lenny Lawrence there as well, another really top manager and top pro around the game?
Yeah, he should do well. I mean, the problem is with it is he has got experience. He needs Lenny Lawrence around him. He's got to listen to people around him. He's got Mark Sampson, who's obviously done the women's game for Rangers, England, and experience. He's a really good coach. So he's got some good people around him. Hopefully he's like I've done it before as a coach and a manager. You think it's my way, and that's it. As long as he's listening to people around him, because they would have seen it, been there, done, made the mistake. So hopefully, last season was a big experience from him. I mean, he got thrust in at the deep end straight away.
Right at the very end. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's tough for him, but he looks like they've made some good signings. I know Leon Hunter, they've made some good players that come in. He's had a pre-season to work with them. So there's no excuse now. He's got the players that he's wanted. And as I say, they've hopefully got a lot of work in, and they'll have a good season. I mean, it's always tough in them leagues. It's important how fast you start if they have a good start to it. And then trying to maintain it is the next step. So just take it week by week. But I think we got the training facilities there. You got a good chairman, and you got the whole infrastructure is there for you to go on and do all right.
Absolutely, and you mentioned there in regards to the training facilities and the stadium now being completed as well with a new stand and everything like that, and Leon being a key part in recruitment as well. So hopefully the reprieve, is something that means that the club can now push on and kind of kick on. And show that we are, capable of being a League Two club and competing at the other end of it.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, they've made mistakes, I think, in the past with the managerial changes. I mean, no disrespect to Dino, I don't think it was the right. 2-3 years ago, it'd have probably been a good decision. The way football's changing now, and I went and watched them a few times. It wasn't very nice to watch. I don't think they had the players to suit how he wanted to play. Whereas they had a lot of good ball players, and it was hard to watch. But now I think they've made a good decision, sticking with a man who knows how they want to play. And as I say, Mark Sampson's a great coach, got good recruitment in. He's playing the right way, and hopefully, I think you see him at the right end of the table this year.
Hopefully it's not another one when we're right down the bottom end again. We've got a message here from Russ as well. I know you played midfield during your career, but was that a position you always played?
No, started off at Millwall as a right back. Could always play in midfield. I mean, as I grew up, I played right wing, centre mid, right back. I converted to right back at Millwall, and that's where probably the best thing. Tom Wally changed me from a midfielder to a right back, so I knew every single position. And it was at Stevenage. I played 2 or 3 times with Stevenage right back, and I think once Barry got injured and I played, it was a big game. I can't remember who it was against, but I remember playing there and we won it. It might be an Aldershot or something like that. And it was a tough game, but we won it. And then I played there another time as well. So I don't mind playing there. But towards the end of my career, I really enjoyed midfield. Get stuck in a bit more and involved in a lot more.
And what are your thoughts on the club's progression through the Football League as well now? Obviously, they had that good run where they were in League One and in the League One playoffs as well. And then they've slipped down a little bit since then, but they're still a Football League club, obviously with what happened with Macclesfield. So, is that something that, you mentioned there that you thought we could have done sooner if we kept hold of Boydie and some of those guys?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard when you're a lower league club you've got to give players the opportunity to progress as well. So if like your Mules come in and Boydie went to Peter at the time, you can't deny them that. You want to keep your best players and build a team around them. But you've also got to think of the players. But I always knew how far Stevenage could go, and they could be a good League One team as well. So it's just getting out of this division again, and as I say, the infrastructure's there. You've got a good chairman. Like I said, I think a few of the managerial decisions have probably not worked out as they would have liked, with Graham 10 times. Sometimes you just got to move on and pick the manager that's going to suit the club and the way they want to play.
Wasn't quite 10 times. We're about halfway there. But I think we're at 4 or 5, whatever it was now. So, yeah. Did you see any of the work that the club did in the community through the pandemic? And how important is it for a club like Stevenage to give back to the fans there?
Nah, mate, the fans are the club. So if I see it here with Brighton. So where they come from, nearly getting relegated from League Two 20 odd years ago to where they are now, and the fans are stuck by them through going from stadium to stadium. I mean, slightly different for you because obviously Stevenage has come up through the non-league way, but you built the fan base up over the years. My son's at Dorking, so Dorking reminds me so much of Stevenage and the work you do with the fan in the community. that's the most important thing, because you're not going to get fans away from your Arsenals or your Tottenhams or your Watfords, or local clubs in the community. So what you got to do is try to get as many kids as you can involved, and all the hard work the staff are doing there to get the fans in is imperative, and is so important.
And how important is it to get the fans back in as soon as safe to do so as well?
Listen, I think they should be back now. I think it's getting a joke now, some of the stuff that's going on. And I'm watching Dorking at the minute there. Can't get fans in for a pre-season friendly Saturday, and it's killing non-league clubs. It's killing league. It's killing non-league, League One, League Two clubs. They start need to get revenue, and it's just killing people. Oh, listen, this coronavirus, I mean, there's but one death yesterday. It's just crazy. And the quicker the government allow fans in, the better for everyone. Listen, come in with a mask for a couple of months, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Listen, you're fine. But I can't get my head around it.
Fair enough. Let's see what we spoke about here. Yeah. So did you have sort of any pre-match routines or pre-match rituals that you'd have?
Yeah, I always used to, especially at Stevenage, I used to always be in early. So I'd come in probably an hour before everyone else. I used to go up, get a coffee, sit with the tea ladies, have a chat. Because I lived in Hayward Heath, and it was a good hour and 45-minute journey. Yeah. So I left super early. I got there, if you had to report at 1:30, I'd be there at 12:30. I'd be having a cup of tea, coffee, just have a little watch, if telly's on, watch it there. Then I used to go into a little gym, stretch on my own, and then always put my left shin pad on first. Stupid, I don't know why, but that's what I did.
Fair enough. If it works, it works. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, no, that's it, mate. Yeah.
And then, so you also coached and played abroad as well. So what would you say the main differences were between sort of playing over in Spain and here in the UK?
I think at the time when I played in Spain, there was more technical than the players here. I think we caught up with them now in England, with the academies training 3-4 times a week. Whereas 10 years ago in Spain, they were still training 3-4 nights a week. England wasn't. So the kids are now had 10 years of that. So you get the good England age group coming through now, because they're training all the time. In Spain, because of the weather, the climate, they're out, they're playing on 3G. So they're used to like nice services. When I started out there, everything was technical, but no one really pressed. Only weren't no aggressive press. So I sort of got into the Spanish players about that and sort of put a bit of English style to it. So it was good for me to see both sides. One thing I had to learn was, like, I used to fly into tackles in England. When I went in Spain, my first 3-4 games, I was getting yellow cards, nearly got sent off every game.
Yeah.
So I learned to stand up and be hard to break down rather than going and flying in kneecapping someone. So when I come back to Stevenage from Spain, you see, even though I got stuck in, I was flying about. I hardly ever was making sliding tackles or anything. I was just trying to read the game a little bit more, which I learned from Spain.
And this is a non-related question, but kind of relates in a way to your eating habits, I guess, when you were there. Who had the better food, Spain or England?
All day long, Spain. I'd eat tapas. So, yeah. Apart from pie and mash, I'd have pie and mash in England, but everything other than that, tapas.
I do love tapas as well. And even in Stevenage, there's a couple of tapas bars here that are really nice. But no, so you're a Millwall fan, and your brother works at West Ham Women. Is that a bit strange, or with the rivalry there?
Yeah, we're not really allowed to talk about it. I don't think. I'm Millwall. Matty obviously works with West Ham. He weren't as big a Millwall fan as what me and my dad are, so it's a little bit different. As a kid growing up, he was supporting Wimbledon because that's where we lived. And obviously my association with Millwall was through me playing with the schoolboys and getting tickets from the age of 13. So, but I've actually, for the only time in my life, he played in the FA Cup final at Wembley, and I had to go support West Ham, and I did sing a West Ham song. It nearly killed me, and my dad gave me the right hander. But
not surprising. It's like, I follow Arsenal as well. It's like me singing anything Spurs related.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was one game only, and they lost the cup final anyway, so there weren't much cheering.
No, he was quite happy, secretly coming out with them in the end. The fact they lost.
Listen, my brothers. I was there to support him more than the football club.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So, how do you think Millwall would get on this season as well, and Stevenage for that matter too?
Millwall, mate, they've done really well last year. Gary Rowett come in and done fantastic. He's got chance to get some good players in over the summer. I think probably 1 or 2 short of getting to the playoffs. So get a couple in. In terms of Stevenage, as I say, there's no real clear winners in the second division. I mean, favourite, you can't say, right, they're going to be bang bang. Anyone could beat anyone in the day. So whoever's the most consistent, if you could keep injury free and keep all your best players fit, then hopefully in and around the playoffs.
It'd be nice if we are. There's quite a lot of change around the squad as well. A lot of players left and quite a lot of new faces have come in. They've had their first competitive game already as well, which was the 3-3 in the Carabao Cup with Portsmouth. Only narrowly losing that one on penalties. Well, not narrowly losing it on penalties. I think we were well beaten on penalties in the end. But you sort of see what I'm saying there. To be able to compete with a team at a level higher.
Yeah, like I say, Alex has had a good chance. Samson had a good chance to get the boys playing how he wants to. I think you went back a lot sooner than a lot of clubs. So I remember seeing about 2 weeks before we did at Brighton. So he's had a good 5-6 weeks of them. So it's not going to happen overnight. It probably could take another couple of months. As long as he's patient and sticks to how he wants to play, and the fans stick with him, he'll be all right.
And just a couple more, really, the last couple. So who was the best player that you played against?
Well, I played against Paul Scholes, David Beckham. So players like that are just phenomenal to play against. It's just like, it was at the time when the Fergie Bays were coming through. So I played against them at 18, when I was 19. And again, when I was at Sheffield United, I think 21. They're just like ridiculous, like how good Scholes was. At the time, Beckham was good, but he hadn't really burst on the scene yet. I think it's a season after I played against him that he burst onto the scene. So yeah, players like that probably the best I played against. And then was lucky enough to play with some great players as well. And I mean, George Boy, Steve Morrison, at Stevenage, and then early in my career at Sheffield United, played with players like Dean Saunders, Ian Rush, Don Hutchison, Mill, Mark Kennedy. That's Alex Ray, some Casey Keller, some fantastic players. Paul McGrath was probably one of the best players I ever played with, Irish legend, Man United legend. Later in my career, when I lived in Spain, I played in charity matches, and I was in midfield with Paul Gascoigne and Brian Robson, who was my hero. So Lee Sharp,
Rise put it on there as well. Brian Robson, loved him as a manager at Middlesbrough. Yeah, so perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's one of my heroes. And I always remember he was playing manager at Middlesbrough, and we was live on telly for Mill. And Casey Keller, Brian Robson went in for a header. Casey Keller elbowed him in the head, and his head just split open. So I went running over to him, my hero, even though he's in opposition, saying, "You all right? All right?" And he just looked up at me and just told me to F off, and then pushed me away. Hero, don't they? So yeah.
Never meet your heroes. There you go.
That kind of celebrity game we played, or charity match, sorry, is in Marbella. Played and we had a good night out with him. So he's a great lad.
It's like Gazza as well. I've met Gazza. I've had the privilege of meeting Gazza about 3 or 4 times. When he was manager of Kettering, I had a good chat with him. I've been to a few of his. Was it him and Greavesy? Did a couple of talks and stuff as well. Spoke to him there. And out in Dubai as well. We were out in Dubai for a holiday, and he was staying at the hotel with us, and the family, his family were all out there. So we actually got to play with him as well, play football with him, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. What a player! What a talent!
And it was quite a bit of a sad time there, though, because his not sad, but his son broke his leg in that game as well. He had to be wheeled off and taken to the hospital. Yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah. So this one's from Russ. Did you ever play with or against Gary Speed? And if you did, then what did you make of him?
I think I played against him. I couldn't tell you where or when. It might have been against Sheffield United. But he's a great player, great man. Obviously, another sad situation how it ended for him. But what a top man, what a top player.
All right. So we'll probably wrap it up actually there now. So thanks a lot for your time today, Mark. Just going to quickly run through and see if I missed anything in the comments. Doesn't look like I have. No, there's one here saying, "What's Mark's net worth?" I have no idea. Do you know?
Net worth?
Yeah.
Haven't got
not a clue. You wouldn't know, no? All right. So now that's the only one that was in the comments there. But we'll leave it there, to be honest. So in regards to Brighton as well, so just talk about a little bit what you do there briefly with the under-18. So you're the manager there with them, yeah?
Yeah, 18s manager in the Premier South League. So got a good crop of youngsters, unbelievable training ground. The club's just going from strength to strength. Got a great manager in Graham Potter. We had 3 lads from my youth team actually make their debut last year. And then we had 2 from the academy, Aaron Conley and Stephen Alzati, making Premier League debuts. So Graham Potter's giving the kids a chance, which gives us all a bit of hope and the players a bit of hope. And it's a great club to be at.
And my brother actually worked with Tony Bloom as well. He worked for that company. What was it like with being there and associated with Tony? Because Tony actually took them all away on a cruise, a works cruise, and he was just loving life. And it was when England played in the World Cup, if I remember right. They were all on this binge up cruise.
Listen, he's a great boss, and you don't build what he's built by not being a good boss. So what the best thing about it is, in like any football club or any business, if you've got good people, you employ good people, the right characters, you get success. And he's done that by, first of all, getting Chris Hughton in. He's got in Paul Barber to build the infrastructure of the club. And obviously through that, Paul Barber's then got Dan Ashworth in. And Dan Ashworth's got Graham Potter in. The academy side of it, what I work in, my boss has got fantastic coaches. And it's just the privilege and pleasure to go into work every day working with some unbelievable people.
And then just the last question, what would you say to anyone that wanted to get into coaching? And my mate in particular, a guy called Jordan, who has done a bit with Chelmsford. He started off as doing a 5-a-side team, then he's moved to Chelmsford, then he's stepped away and he's now gone back to doing the 5-a-side thing, but he's moved that onto an 11-a-side team now. So what would you say to sort of up and coming young coaches like
that? Just study. Don't be work at any level, like whether it's pub team, community team, under 7s, under 18s, whatever it is. Just go in, try your hand at it, and whatever experience you have, just learn from it, and then try and improve. Listen to other people, study coaches. Always try to improve yourself. Go on as many courses as you can if you can afford it, and always want to be open-minded. Always want to learn. Just try things as well. I mean, a lot of things I've done, I've learned from is trying things. Try to make the practices as realistic as they are to a match. And then the most important thing, you've got to enjoy what you're doing, love it, and do it with a bit of enthusiasm. So if you don't, it don't rub off to the players. And then if you don't love what you're doing, then there's no point in you doing it.
Yeah, and you can see, from some of the, he's a big Southend fan as well, and obviously you played for them. He's played, his team played at Southend. They won a couple of games at Southend as well. And, I think they played at Rotherham and won a game at Rotherham as well. So you can see that he's...
Jordan, what's his surname?
Stringer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I follow him on Facebook. Yeah.
You spoke to him about his coaching stuff, have you? Because I know he spoke to a couple of other guys in the management career sort of ladder as well. He spoke to Harry Redknapp and Sir Alex and a couple of others.
Yeah, listen, for him, I mean, I know he's had a few health issues and things like that. He's released his football, and the more he's out there trying things, sometimes, listen, in football as well, it's so many backstabbers and so many things go wrong that it's how you handle in knockbacks and how you handle rejection. Like, I'm used to it. I've been involved in football since 16 full time, been released. I could have easily let football get the better of me years ago, but stronger ones are the ones who come back from it and then work even harder to prove the people who got rid of it in the first place wrong. And people like Jordan, he's just got to keep working and keep striving to get better, and so eventually your time comes. Normally the cream rises to the top, and as they say, and you just got to keep working hard, but you've got to have loads of obstacles in the way before you get there.
All right, we'll leave it there, to be honest. We had a little comment in here in regards to your lampshade. Somebody said that they love your lampshade there as well on the ceiling there.
I can see because he's trying to get me. It keeps sliding.
That's all right, mate. It's still good though. But no, we'll leave it there, to be honest, Mark. Thanks a lot, and good luck with the Brighton under-18s, and hopefully it's a successful season for them, and of course for Millwall as well.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Top man. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Thanks, Mark. Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers. Bye now.